Wait, just to check something as well. You're perfectly happy with us releasing this episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to confirm. I just want to get your consent. Do you consent?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do I get the consent to slap you? Yes, please. Whatever.
No! We're supposed to demonize! What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back tonight. What are you gonna say?
What's up?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Low High Trips.
Low-High
Today we're gonna be talking about what are we gonna talk about?
Demonizing people, humanizing people.
Yes, I think humanizing slash demonizing slash being petty slash revenging against people who has wronged us in the past or we perceive to have wronged us. Is that the topic that we're gonna talk about today, Kasey?
I didn't sign up for this, but okay.
Yeah, super candid,
just
super spontaneous. Just jump
random.
into it.
Oh my god.
So, first question: are you petty? Do you reckon that you're petty?
Did you just do this to attack me?
No, I'm not doing this to attack you. But if you feel attacked,
I'm gonna take it personally.
if the shoe fits, Cinderella.
Shut up. Yes, I am petty. It's literally my personality trait, okay? I'm not proud of it, but kinda.
Okay, when you mention
I'm not-
petty, like what? Would you like to elaborate?
As in like I don't know. I'm just like I feel like if you don't do me wrong, then I wouldn't, do shit to you. But I'm not the type that it's okay, I'll let it go, I'll let it slide. I don't.
So you don't forgive.
Yeah, I don't forgive.
Is it because it's all about like justice? Like someone do something to you and then, okay, to make it fair, to make the whole equation fair, I need to do this back.
Yeah. I think I'm really firm on it. I don't know, I'm just kind of built like that. Like, I was like this since I was like primary school. Like, now I look it back, I'd be like, wow, damn, I've been like this the whole time, huh? Since I was like probably like 8 or 9 years old. But I just kind of have that mindset like, what the fuck, you did this to me, I'm gonna,
But yeah, I mean, first of all, good on you for having the self-awareness though. Like, first of all, you are self-aware to recognize this. And second, you're like, you know that this is happening and you admit it. So I think that's like a whole layer being cracked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I think some people are completely ignorant. They don't even know that they're being petty.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh no, I'm not. It's their fault, okay? It's not me. But when you mention petty, I think it's a bit interesting because I mentioned that when people wrong us, like what does it mean when people wrong you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what are some of the things that you would categorize as people wronging you?
I mean, it's so hard. Like, there's no a universal definition for this. It really depends on the context of the situation. Let's say if, I
Example.
get cheated, like, how would I react? I'm not the type that, I'm so angry, but, what can I do, I'm gonna do something. Like, I think it's probably my coping mechanism or defense mechanism. I just have to do something, so it kind of makes me feel better in a way. That's why I kind of feel like I'm petty, but it's not something that, I sound so bad, but it's not something that I'm planning to change because I don't see the harm to me. I know some people, like, I think you mentioned before how like, it's not healthy for me to hold it for that long. Like, but for me personally, I don't see it as unhealthy. It's not harmful to me. And the fact is that, like, because you did hurt me, so why can't I do it? And I think I'm kind of obsessed with the idea, like, people learn through pain. So it's like, if I've been through that, you have to been through that as well.
So you want to teach them something.
Yeah. But as in, you get me? It's not like, let's say, if, for example, like, at school, like, I'm the senior and that's junior, I've been through this situation, it was really hard, then, like, I would want to help out. Because, like, the person never caused harm to me. But I'm talking about as a situation more like the person
harmed you.
Yeah, then I want to give it back.
Okay, what's the reason of giving it back? For justice? To make it fair?
Yeah, to make it fair, to make me feel better.
Okay, but the things that you mentioned, that people learn through pain, right? So when someone inflict pain on you, because, from what you say that you're petty, so you want to inflict pain back to them, correct?
I want them to know they're wrong.
Okay, but wouldn't inflicting pain back to them allow them the opportunity to learn and to grow as a person?
Yeah.
So isn't that counterproductive? So you're technically making them grow. You're making them a better person from inflicting this pain.
I really want people to have that self-awareness. Low-key sometimes, like, could be quite aggressive way, like, to harm people. The context for this is, like, everything beforehand, it's like this person did hurt me, so I'm gonna do it. As like if it's just a neutral thing, like, I'm not gonna like, oh, because I suffer, so I want you to suffer too. It wouldn't be like that. It's more like you, like, did you cause harm to me? So yeah.
I don't know. It's really interesting because as I'm thinking about like pettiness, revenge, and like the whole justice, like you do this to me, so I'm gonna do this back to you. I think, in all honesty,
So for me, I think one of the things that my reasoning, me being so petty, is that I somehow demonize people sometimes. And I think it's kind of fair. Some people, like they kind of deserve it. Not like no one is 100% bad, 100% good, but some
Yeah.
people, they did wrong. Like, say for example, if my boyfriend, my ex, cheated on me, of course, like, I would demonize them in a sort of way. Like, maybe they did fuck up, but I'll probably go a bit extra, extreme to demonize people. And then of course I will be like, oh, I'm so mad, he's the bad person, I'm gonna take revenge, I'm so petty as well. So I feel like for me it kind of makes sense because I'm quite petty. So yeah, but I feel like for you, you don't really have that, because we talked about this before. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like for me it's so normal being petty, demonizing people. But I feel like for you, like, you're the other way. We're completely different. Our approach is like to like the whole petty, revenge, demonizing people. I feel like you're more like humanizing people.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, that's a really good point. I remember we were having this discussion before. I guess, when it comes to demonizing people, that was definitely a strategy or a coping mechanism that I was utilizing many, many years ago. Let's just say from, I don't know, for the most part of my childhood and adolescence, right? Anyhow, what I'm trying to say is that I find that strategy not too effective for my health and well-being because of the fact that when I demonize someone, I always hold this, would you say grudge, or sort of like an image in your head that this person is all bad, everything 100% bad. This person was a mistake. This person is wrong. This person is brought nothing but bad experiences in my life. All in all, this person is just, like the word demonizing is just like a demon in your life. That this person has been a traumatic image or a traumatic representation of what you wish you could have avoided in your life. In the end of the day, a mistake. However, I feel like by viewing people that have wronged me, like I said, this is like my perception of wronging, my perception of, or my rules, the rules that I've created or constructed. And these people, I don't find it effective to me. I don't find it efficient, or I don't find it beneficial. I think that's the main thing. Because by demonizing them, I feel like it causes more negative effects on my health and well-being, where I'm constantly being reminded of it. I'm constantly thinking that, yeah, by demonizing them, I'm able to move on from this incident, that it's easy, it's black and white. It's like, I'm right, you're wrong, case closed. But the thing is that never felt right to me. I could never really move on from it despite knowing that, oh, they're all wrong and I'm all right. Because I know that that's sort of like from my perspective. I always try to see from their perspective, and I feel like, you know what, in the end of the day, things are really gray. They could be doing something where I perceive which is completely wrong, right? But to them, it might be perfectly justified. It might be due to this chain of events, circumstances that they underwent, that they decided to do this specific something. And of course, some things are not really debatable. Like, to me, would be like cheating. I think cheating is wrong. You can justify it, you can reason it, you can say whatever excuses that you want. Cheating is cheating. And cheating is fucked. Like, to me, that's like just wrong in general. However, I feel like I'm never able to move on or to truly accept what happened when I demonize the other person. However, when it comes to humanizing them, by understanding why they did it, by trying to understand, by trying to put yourself into their perspectives and should be like, maybe they did this because of this and that. However, one reminder is that you don't go around punishing yourself despite humanizing them, right? Like, you don't humanize them and you're like, oh yeah, I used to be a really bad partner and that's the reason why they cheated on me. Oh yeah, I'm absolute shit. It's my fault. It's my fault they cheated. No.
Are you attacking me?
No. Wait, what? No. I'm speaking from my personal experience.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. Maybe I'm projecting or something.
Okay,
but
I'm projecting too, sorry.
yeah, I'm definitely not referring to you. I'm speaking like on behalf of myself. Of course, I definitely went through stages of self-blame. I hated myself. Self-esteem was an all-time low. And I thought that I'm the reason. Fuck, I'm the reason. I'm not good enough. I'm not anything enough, you know? I'm just not meeting the expectations or whatever they demand or whatever they require from me. That's why they cheated on someone that can provide those needs. However, the thing is that in the end of the day, I feel like it's just mismatched expectations. You're just not compatible. You're just not compatible to be together. However, I don't know. This is so messy, to be honest. Like, it's such a raw topic in my head. You know what I mean? It's not something that I've processed. It's not something that I've already gotten conclusions of. I think it's like something where I'm processing on the go right now as I'm speaking with you. But personally, to me, I feel like humanizing people helps me understand things. And when I can understand something, I can fully move on from it because I understand why it happened. So it's sort of like my personal closure. It's not a closure that the person has provided me, but it's a closure that, okay, I can understand where you're coming from. It's fucked. You know, it's fucked. It's not right, but I get it.
I think it's good, but it's kind of like the side effect of humanizing people. Because sometimes, like, you wouldn't know, like, oh, should I be demonizing this person or humanizing? And sometimes, like, I feel like the thing is that it doesn't work for me because I think I'm a bit extreme. As in, like, the same approach could work for you, but not me. As in, I'm quite extreme. Now it's better, but back then it was very hard for me to. But wait, so it's no one's fault. So it's either like, if I'm not demonizing you, if I'm humanizing you,
Ooh,
then
okay.
it was my fault.
So you're demonizing yourself.
Yeah, so I that's why, like, for me it was a bit hard. It's a bit tricky, as in, like, I think I had the tendency to humanize people that I shouldn't be humanizing. So I end up demonizing myself. Like, I had really bad self-image, like, oh, it was my fault, like, I've done it wrong, like, it was all my fault. So now it's like I'm trying to demonize people a bit more. It's just a bit hard. Like, it's nothing as easy like, oh, I just humanize that person. But it's always the side effect. Like, it's so complicated.
Okay. And would you say that it's just like it really depends on your coping mechanism or the strategy that works best for you?
I think I'm still exploring it. As in, I think it's quite a hard concept to accept that, like, in a relationship when it felt like at the end no one's fault. So it's just like it's just not comparable. I think for me, like, it doesn't feel in control in a way. Like, the reasoning. It's like I've done like, let's say an experiment, a test, then I want to see like which part went wrong or like what I could have done better. So if it's someone's fault, that I can have, at least I have something to grab on, like, oh, because his fault, so I won't find another guy like that, or my fault, then I'll stop being a shit girlfriend. So that's something I can grab on. But if the reason is just like, oh, we're just not comparable, I think it's so hard. It's such a,
It's hard to accept.
yeah, it's hard to accept, and it basically means there's nothing you can do. And the concept of like there's nothing you can do is so hard to process. Like, so wow, like I have no control over this.
Yeah. So essentially, it's just more of like a out of your control kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you just feel like, oh, so what? That's it. I'm supposed to accept that
just accept
this person
like,
is just like that.
Yeah, but accept,
like this happened just because.
Yeah, it's such a thing that like there's no steps. It's just like just accept. But like, what's the step of accepting? Like, can you tell me? Can you write down? How do I measure? It's so hard to measure this kind of stuff. That's why like I'd rather like. I don't think it's good, but sometimes like unconsciously when you demonize or you humanize someone, like it's easier. At least
it's easier for you to accept the fact that there's a right and wrong.
Yeah.
It's easier to accept that someone broke
like,
the rule.
He's the shit one or I'm the shit one. At least I can work on myself or I can avoid similar traits in future.
Okay, so just to break it down to two scenarios, right? One is that the person is wrong, and the second one is you're the one wrong.
Yeah.
You're the one who's in the wrong. Okay, so when the other party is wrong, what do you do? How do you learn and what do you do to like overcome it? Does that make sense?
I think for me, when I'm wrong, I'm fully aware that I'm wrong. Like, I'll just take it. But when the other person is at fault, it can be hard for me, as in, like, I have to think about, like, should I be, of course, like, unconsciously, I feel like, should I be demonizing or humanizing this person? I think I had attempts of humanizing that person too much, that I blame everything on myself, which is not healthy. And I have like which kind of ends up like, oh shit, it's not my fault, why I'm demonizing myself, and then kind of like chuck a yee, be like, oh shit, his fault. There are still people out there that I stop talking, not necessarily romantically, like as in previous friends that I just kind of like, I demonize them as a way to protect myself, and I just withdraw from the relationship. Like people, I just completely cut them off, and like they will forever have that image that they've done something wrong. I think it's easier for me to cope with it somehow.
That's fair. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I definitely have demonized quite a few people in my life, over the course, especially like during my teenage years. People that I really cut off or slam the door when it comes to the social connections that you have, right? But the things that I don't perceive it this way anymore. I do not know how to explain what changed, but I feel like something has changed within me where I feel like there is really no point demonizing them, and there's no point holding on to the grudge where, oh, this person did this to me before, or I did this to them before. I feel like in the end of the day, we were all at one stage of our lives where probably we were not compatible, be it as friends, partners, housemates, unimates, schoolmates, whatever it is, anything at all. But I feel like at that specific point of time, maybe we were not in the right headspace for one another's presence. Like, I know this sounds pretty hippie, but it's like maybe like the vibe wasn't clicking.
Timing.
Yeah, or like the timing. And the timing is not like, oh, timing is everything, but it's more like the development of your character. You're at that point of life where you're not too stable, or you're not too developed just yet. And I think I'm not ashamed to admit that I was at a few points of my life where I've cut off a few social connections where I definitely was not developed yet. I feel like I was relatively immature. I feel like there were a lot of things that I could have improved on. There were many things that I could have probably forgiven or closed an eye. But I feel like as a person, sometimes I'm a bit more rigid, structured. Everything revolves around plan. Everything revolves around control, right? Sort of like a control freak. But the thing is that I think sometimes people take it personally that it's because of them. But it's not them. It's not them as a human being. It's just the things that they do. It does not fit into my rules, my really rigid rules, which is of course not fair to impose on people.
It's the event, not the person.
Exactly, yeah. It's what the person did rather than like the person is shit. But no, it's like you did this, which I'm not too cool with. And because I'm not too cool with, it obviously speaking sort of like created like a rift or like a tremor in our like relationship. You know what? Like I said, all these rules that I have sometimes with my own lives. Obviously right now I'm working on it. I'm learning to be a bit more flexible, to be a bit more spontaneous, candid, to be more open to experience and open to things that are more foreign. But look, what I'm trying to say that in the end of the day is that I do understand that we were not at the right points of our lives, and this is general to everyone. That yeah, I don't think anyone's wrong. Sometimes, of course, there are events where people are wrong, but yeah, I don't really hate them. I don't feel like, nah, screw them. I know I wish you have a shit life, but I'm just like, yeah, it's a bit of a shame that we probably lost contact. I'm always open to reconnect, to be honest. It's not like I'm desperate for it, but at the same time, it's not like I'm averse to it. It's just that if you're open to it, I'm open to it. Why not? Why not learn from the experience and talk about it? I mean, it can be quite uncomfortable, can be a bit awkward, talking about events that happened like what, 5-10 years ago. But look, I'm in all honesty, I don't really care. Like, if you could learn from it, why not? Like, if you prioritize self-development, character development, then go for it. In the end of the day, everyone have their own ways of coping. Do what works for you, but make sure that it's sustainable.
I feel like for me, I have difficulty forgiving people. I think it's literally my, like, it's not like, oh my god, I'm a Gemini. I don't drink coffee. It's not like that kind of shit. I think I'm fully aware of it, and I don't see the point of changing it. Like, so far, me living like this hasn't brought any harm. Like, for you, you're like, oh, when I recall, I've done it wrong. Like, I think I was being a bit immature. And I think for the people that I cut off, like, maybe I was a bit immature, but my maturity had nothing to do with them being shit people. And like I don't think a single person that I've cut out in my life that I regret that I wanna talk to them again. No, not a single one. I think I'm quite like insightful. I don't know. It's like I never really regret when it comes to people I cut off in my life. Yeah, and I just feel like it's like humanizing. It's like when I look back like at people who caused damage, you know, like harm me before. It's like for me, it's like is it humanizing? As in I understood, you know, childhood trauma, like how your parents treated you, but it doesn't mean like I have to forgive you and you know.
Okay,
It's your yeah. For me, I kind of live like that, and I feel like it's better for my mental health.
Okay, that's fair. I think, in the end, they do what's best and do what's sustainable. If you think this specific strategy works for you, especially in the long term, then go for it. But if it's something where it's a short term coping mechanism, where it only works for 12 months and then you're going to crash and regret after, then obviously speaking, that's not sustainable because you're setting yourself up for failure. Although there's one thing I like to clarify when you mentioned the word regret, right? It's such a strong word. I think I don't regret cutting off the social connections in my past. That's not something I'm like, oh man, I still wish that I'm still friends with, ABC. But it's more like I'm more than happy and I'm open to reconnect, but I don't regret what happened. Because what happened. And I'm pretty sure it's mutual and like both characters, both parties, or if there's more than two parties, all parties have developed somewhat, hopefully, from that event. And you have learned something from it. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it happened. It's a clash of like ideas or clash of like rules at a time. But, it doesn't mean that when you reconnect, you have to make sure that you're aligned by the same rules. But I definitely see where you're coming from, regarding that. If it works for you, it works for you. If it's better for your mental health, look, there's no obligation to reconnect with people or whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it's like a trend or something. People always, but not saying you, but it's just in general. People always encourage people or like promoting that whole reconnect with your old friends, like and stuff. I don't know, like why to me, like why you wanna reconnect with people so bad? Like no, I think I like making
new friends.
But I think I like making people regret. That's kind of like my way for someone who's super petty like me.
Wait, is this part in the podcast?
No, please don't.
Okay.
I think I like making people regret. Probably people not even like they're not even regretting. They have no idea what's happening. But for me, it's just like that little thing I do to myself to make myself feel better. Like to yeah, fuck you, They live really good, but it makes me feel like I wish you regret. I'm gonna stop talking to you. Probably the person doesn't care, but for me, it's a way to revenge that.
And you feel good as well.
Yeah,
you feel good doing it. So if it gives you that that boost, right?
Yeah. For me, it's a way to punish people. You're gonna hate it, but for me, it's a way to punish people to not give closure. So a lot of people that I cut off in my life because I felt like you hurt me. So,
wait, is this part in the podcast, no, right?
I don't know. I'll think about it.
So yeah, look, I think this topic or topics that we've discussed today has been here, there, and everywhere because of the fact that it's so candid, it's so raw, right? Like it's not something that we've truly processed. Like even when we talked about it back then, last week, it was still like something that we're still trying to process, trying to understand because we are still building the self-awareness of like our coping mechanism. Yeah, I mean, at least that's for me. Like I'm still trying to think like, oh yeah, I guess I'm open to it, but why am I open to it? I don't know. Like I still haven't like thought about it just yet. But if there's one thing that you can give as a takeaway for this episode, what would it be? Like one advice or whatever it is, one statement.
If you want to keep your ex car, go do it as long as you're happy. So, but you get what I mean? Like,
Jesus
it sounds
Christ.
so toxic, but to me, it's like, as long as it's healthy to me, You'd be like, I could be like, oh my god, yesterday I just went to my ex place and I keyed his car. You'd be like, what the fuck, Kasey? That's so ridiculous. Like, that's so toxic. But with my reasoning, it's like, oh my god, I was in like really abusive relationship and I got cheated on. They'd be like, okay, that's fair. Do it to his dad's car as well, That's the thing. But it's really on your self-awareness. Like, are you lying to yourself? Is it healthy or not?
So yeah, guys, that's Kasey's takeaway for this episode. And my takeaway would be look, just practice more empathy, man. Like just stop.
Ouch. Okay, I'll try.
No, not you. My takeaway for this episode. Why are you
I'm
taking
gonna
this
take it,
personally?
yeah.
But yeah, in all honesty, just practice more empathy and stop being so self-centered. I guess that's my advice. I don't know, like my advice for myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, thank you guys for listening. As always, this is Low High Trips. Super messy episode, completely understand that. But hey, we want to maintain this raw and candid sort of like a vibe to it instead of like coming up with a script and talking about it once we are all experts when it comes to the topics that we've discussed, right? So yeah, I just want to say once again, thank you for listening. Low High Trips available everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever, you know what I mean? Yeah, have a lovely life. Take good care of yourself. Stay hydrated, stay high, stay low, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Please don't key your ex's car.
I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying I'm not encouraging that. But if you're gonna do it, do it if it makes you happy. No. As far as it's legal though.